Module Overview. Land real estate is the foundation of all property types in development. It represents the raw, undeveloped, or partially developed terrain that serves as the starting point for residential, commercial, industrial, agricultural, recreational, and conservation-based uses. Unlike built properties, land real estate is complex due to its immovability, permanence, scarcity, and vulnerability to regulatory and environmental changes. This module dives deeply into the types, classifications, legal systems, valuation mechanisms, development processes, investment strategies, regulatory landscapes, and environmental considerations that define land as a real estate asset. You will explore how land functions as both a speculative and productive asset, and how zoning, land banking, government policies, and infrastructure influence its marketability, usability, and profitability. We also analyze case studies of land transformation, the rising global interest in land conservation, renewable energy use, land flipping, and the interplay between indigenous rights, urban expansion, and sustainability. The module concludes with insights into emerging technologies in land surveying, planning, and geospatial intelligence. Definition and types of land in real estate. Undeveloped, raw land. Untouched, no utilities or roads. Partially developed land, some infrastructure or zoning in place. Developed land, subdivided, serviced, ready for construction, agricultural land, for farming, livestock, and forestry. Recreational land, parks, resorts, golf courses. Timberland, forested areas for logging. Special use land, mining, burial grounds, conservation. Legal ownership and land tenure systems. Freehold ownership. Leasehold land, often 99 or 199 years. Customary and indigenous land rights, government or public land. Land grants and allocations, title registration systems, deeds, surveys, and land certificates. Land use, zoning, and planning regulations. Residential, commercial, industrial, agricultural, zoning, mixed use, and flexible zoning arrangements, setback regulations, and building density laws. Environmental restrictions, wetlands, floodplains. Urban growth boundaries and land use master plans, planning authorities, approval processes, and land conversion. Land valuation techniques. Comparative market analysis, CMA. Highest and best use, HBU analysis. Residual land value, RLV method. Sales comparison approach, income-based land valuation for leased plots. Cost of development versus expected market value. Soil fertility and topographic value for agricultural land. Land acquisition, development, and subdivision. Land scouting and negotiation. Due diligence and title verification. Feasibility studies and site analysis. Surveying and mapping, soil testing, drainage, and geotechnical assessments. Infrastructure planning, roads, electricity, sewage, subdivision and plot demarcation, gated estate development, green space planning. Investment strategies and land flipping. Long-term land banking, strategic holding. Short-term land flipping for profit. Buying land near planned infrastructure or expansion zones. Purchasing distressed or underutilized parcels. Lease income from land, e.g., telecom towers, billboards, land held for agricultural income or carbon credit use. Risks, challenges, and fraud in land transactions. Land grabbing and fake documentation, disputes over boundaries and overlapping claims. Government acquisition or compulsory purchase. Environmental contamination or topographic issues. Encroachments. Illegal occupants. Community disputes, speculative bubbles, and overpricing. Land taxes, charges, and levies. Land use charges, stamp duty and capital gains tax, survey and deed registration fees. Annual ground rent, in leasehold. Property development levies, planning permit fees. Technology in land real estate. Geographic information systems, GIS. Global positioning systems, GPS, and remote sensing. Drone-based land surveying and mapping, blockchain for land registry and transaction security, Land Information Management Systems (LIMS) mobile apps for verifying ownership and plot location. Global trends in sustainable land use. Urban sprawl and the demand for peri-urban land. Land use for solar and wind farms, smart land use. Planning and eco-cities, conservation easements and protected lands. Land restoration and climate resilience programs, carbon farming and environmental land banking, learning outcomes. By the end of this module, you will be able to identify and classify different types of land used in real estate. Understand legal, environmental, and regulatory frameworks surrounding land ownership and use. Apply valuation and feasibility techniques for land assessment. Evaluate land as an investment, development, and speculative asset. Mitigate risks and identify red flags in land transactions. Leverage digital tools and technologies in land surveying and planning. Align land use with sustainability, infrastructure, and national development goals.